Wednesday, April the 1st. So the Power C's, again, we're talking about tips for a healthier work from home experience. So I hope everyone has been enjoying the time that we've had together these last few mornings. And so let's think about the next one that we can have in terms of our next Power C. So the first Power C for today is catch up. Think about your family and friends, people that you haven't spoken to in a while, possibly even years. I know we probably all have those friends that you've been friends from college, maybe from childhood. This is a great time to give them a call, to check in on folks and see how they're doing. A lot of people are probably working from home as well, so this will be a really good time to kind of schedule that time. So this isn't necessarily during our normal work day, but in the evenings when we would typically maybe be going out to the gym or spending time with local family and friends, maybe at a happy hour, whatever that might be in the evening, this is a good time to catch up with those individuals. What I like to do is walk and talk, so people that I haven't had a chance to connect with in a while. Monday evening was really nice outside, and I think I talked about one of the things that I was grateful for was having just a really nice sunny day. So I talked to my friend Catherine that lives in Hawaii. So it was afternoon time for her, but it was perfect evening time for me. And so I walked for about 45 minutes to an hour, and it was a great time just to connect with her. So that's what I'm trying to do in the evenings when the weather and my allergies permit, is to take those long walks and walk a couple of miles in the evening. And it's a great time to get connected to individuals. So as we think about catching up, you want to make sure you kind of really build that into your schedule as well. I think all of us are kind of guilty of what I call phone tag, where you call them and then they call you and you really just miss each other. So if there's a way, either you email, you text them, you just kind of reach out early on to say, hey, what's your Thursday night looking like? Or hey, what's Sunday afternoon looking like for you? To have that built-in time to connect so that it's on your schedule. And it also gives you something to look forward to know that you're going to be able to catch up with those individuals. One thing that my family started last week, and this is so perfect in terms of our timing of catching up, is that we have a family Google Hangout chat time, meetup time on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. So the best part of technology is when it works great. So my mom was able to dial in. So we didn't see video of my mom last night, but she definitely heard everybody's voices. And it was just really good to see everybody. So that's our family time now, is every Tuesday at 8 o'clock to catch up with my brother, who's on the West Coast in San Diego, family in Midwest and Central Time, and then me here in Tennessee. So again, think about how you can reach out to folks early on, connect with them, and then build that into your schedule so that it gives you something to look forward to. So now that we have catch-up time, now when we think about time that we have in the evenings and weekends, is to continue those projects that you started in the past. I'm sure that we can all agree on this one, that there's something that they've started at some point in their home or in their yard, that you started that project, but you really quite haven't had the time to really finish it. So whether that's creating your digital photo album, getting your tax information, so getting all those documents together. If you're like me, I'm trying to remember where I put things, because sometimes I outsmart myself and hide those documents from myself. So this is a good time for me to pull all those things together and put them in one consolidated place so that we can get our taxes done. Purging old items that can be donated to your local agencies or organizations is another great project. And again, this is something that you can do as an individual or that you can do as a family. So it really just depends on what you see as that project that you would like to finish. Is it a vision board? Is it, cleaning out your closet? Is it organizing jewelry? Maybe I'm telling on myself right now. Is it organizing those things that just need a little bit more detailed time and attention? And so it shouldn't feel hard. To a certain degree, it should feel enjoyable, and it could be something that you could do either alone or with the family. So in order to finish those projects that you started, here's a couple of tips to think about when you're working on those projects, is really estimate the resources that you need. Do you have everything at home in order to finish that project? If you're like me, I may be ambitious and want to start that project before I really realize that I'm missing a few things in order to complete it and carry it out. Estimate your budget. How much time is it going to take? How much energy is it going to take to complete that project? Is it dependent upon the weather? Are you doing something outside? Are you repurposing furniture? Whatever it is, really think about what it will take for you to finish that project. The next is don't be a perfectionist. Don't be a perfectionist. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be completed. And so think about how much of your time and energy that you're willing to actually commit to the project, and follow the path with enjoyment. So if it feels like a chore, then maybe this isn't the project that you finish at this particular time, but it's more so something that you think about, okay, I want to finish this over the summer, versus now, particularly because we're all really kind of have a little bit of anxiety and we're feeling a little frustrated about not being able to do the things that we typically would do. So this is a good time to think about what those things are and how you can actually finish that project with enjoyment. And track your progress. If it's something that you really enjoy, and let's say you do it every Wednesday night for 30 to 45 minutes, you can see kind of where you started this week and then the progress that you'll make next week. And then lastly, celebrate it and don't force it if it's not working. If you know that you really need to get out, you need some other resources, but it's just not a good time right now, kind of put it to the side, put it on your list of things that you'll accomplish later. But the main thing is to celebrate your accomplishments once you've finished it. So those are our power C's for today on catching up and communicating and connecting and finishing those projects that we've started. So now we'll have time for questions.
Shewanee?
Yes.
What if you work for one of those crazy perfectionists?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question, Jill.
Look at her. Look at her.
If you work for a perfectionist, that's a really good question. What have you done in the past?
Well, I'm more perfect than she could ever need me to be. So, you know, it was more a question for other people.
Of course. If you do work for a perfectionist, I think it's important to have an honest conversation about kind of where you are, what your resources are at home, and what is likely that you can accomplish on a daily or weekly basis. As John started with humor, I think that's always kind of a good place to start, but then just to be realistic about what you can accomplish on a weekly basis. And if it doesn't feel feasible, I think having a plan of action about what that looks like, how many iterations, how many versions of a document need to be shared amongst each other until it's completed. So hopefully our perfectionists, we're all having flexibility.
She is. I was really just kidding.
Oh, I know she is.
David has.
Yes, I have something. This is actually from my 6-year-old son, Freddie, who has been enjoying the presentation. And he pointed out that not everybody in our households has access to Zoom. And that's something for those of us who are weathering this, you know, with family members, partners, roommates, whatever, is being aware that as isolated as we sometimes feel, we actually have some advantages because of this UTC community and access to tools like Zoom. And there are grown-ups and children who are sometimes a little jealous of what we get to do.
I want to add on to that. One of the focuses that I've had here recently with events that we do in university events is the lack of ability for like people in facilities to communicate with us when we send out invitations to them or notices of events and things like that. And that's something to always be mindful of, because there are people that we work with that do many things for us and for our university that maybe, like what David was saying, don't have access to Zoom. So our office actually did a Zoom call, and we did a shout out and videoed it to Carol, our custodian, and it actually made her cry. So I've taken the time to text her and call her and FaceTime with her. So if anybody else has that opportunity with people that maybe do things for you in your office on a regular basis, but aren't part of your immediate circle of colleagues, that's very kind to do, just to let them know that we're still thinking about them, even though we don't get to see them on a daily basis.
That's an excellent idea. Excellent idea, Jill.
I'll see if I can get them on here at some point.
Can I make a commentary for the C's?
Mhm.
So I've noticed watching everyone on here, how many of us put our hands on our faces and prop our chins up, as Faith Garner just did. It's such a habit. It's hard to get out of the habit. I know we're all washing our hands and all, but it's just interesting to scroll through the screen and see how many of us have our hands on our faces, to just show how hard it is to get out of that habit.
We appreciate that gentle reminder, Vicki.
All right, any other questions for Shewanee? All right, well, it looks like we're done for the day. Thank you all so much for continuing to tune in. Thank you to Shewanee for continuing to show up and inspire us each day, but you all are inspiring me as well. So keep up the work that you're doing, keep making the world turn around, and keep the sun shining. So we'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thanks.
You too.